because we have the special guest today, I would love her to first introduce yourself, Monica, so the audience knows what you're doing, because what you're doing is extremely interesting for us, fellow just Twitter degens and governance nerds. You're taking it from a very, very different and more like cooler perspective, more all around. So please introduce yourself and let us know exactly what you do.
Hi, my name is Monica Tsang. I'm from the University of Waterloo. I'm researching advanced interfaces, and one of the interfaces that I'm interested in is decentralized governance tools and their people's participation in them. So, one of the projects I'm working with is I'm helping out Professor Jeff Snard from Stanford to test out his contestable DAO research in different cultural groups to see how they interact. One of the things I was interested in, my background initially for governance only. We pushed to create the biggest student housing cooperative in the world. We've worked for it for a very long time, and 2 years ago, the one at Waterloo actually beat Berkeley's in size. So, apart from just a theoretical aspect of governance, I've had a lot of experience, real life, dealing with a lot of governance challenges in the past. So wanted to kind of bring that experience on board, and also try to figure out the cultural differences in how people vote. One of the things that I have observed, this may or may not be true, is that certain cultures, depending on where they grew up in, certain people who grew up in places that do not vote don't seem to feel that there's a agency to vote, and as a result, a lot of people from cultures that vote a lot, for example, in Europe, in North America, or even certain countries in Asia, tend to vote more on chain than others. And so I'm trying to figure out whether that is the case, and see what we can do to improve these these outcomes. Yep.
Man, it's super interesting, and I can see how it relates with voter apathy, which is the number one kind of reason DAOs and all these digital governance, even if they represent some cause which can be like even financially interesting to someone, you see that the turnout usually is low, much lower than the expected one. And in the world of internet currencies, where where you come from, what your passport is, what kind of government you actually have in place, you rarely think that this could be a reason for the low participation, where your audience, your DAO members are not from a country that are actually seeing any reason to participate in decision making. It's very interesting. And usually, what are the tools you use to measure that, and how can we replicate this so we can get data from our DAOs? What's the easiest way to actually, or the, how do you approach this?
Right now, I have to be super careful because, especially for decentralized governance, a lot of people get into the spaces because they want to keep their identity private, and that was one of the major things that I had to deal with. Just going through, like, I would say a lot of the work, instead of just building the tools, is to make sure the ethics board from my university allows us to do this particular research, because we're like, especially for those who want to get involved, we don't want to dox them, right? Like, from from the locations that they're participating in. So right now, to make it more simple, we're just creating simple, small experiments in local communities first and foremost before we actually create an actual on-chain experiment. Yeah, it's strange because in academia, I feel a lot of the work we have to think like multifolds to make sure that we don't hurt people. And as a result, sometimes it might take a lot longer than expected, but at the same time, the results will be more robust. And a lot of the work, especially for Dean's List, like a lot of the experiments that you guys do, I wish we have an opportunity in the future to actually write this up and actually publish it, because it's the publication aspect that people require to spread the word out. It's an interesting space. I'm trying to navigate and not um, get myself into trouble, because the more you try to push things forward, the like you yeah, there's yeah.
For sure, and for sure. And since the last time we spoke and you saw into the DAO that we are actually part of, things have changed a lot. We've come up, and Dean Machine here can talk about it more in depth, because he has come up with a fantastic new type of governance, which is KPI based. And I think it would be very interesting to look at it also from more of an educational, institutional, academic kind of lens, which kind of asks the questions on who pays the price when collective governance gets things wrong, and who should pay the price, and it debates a little bit the ethics behind that. So I think that it would be very interesting to shine some light on the experiments that are happening within this power user community, which is all voluntary, and it's all, you know, not tied to any financial incentive, which makes things much harder, as you understand. If you could add the price tag and pay people to do something, it would for sure skew the results and change the research. But here it's all done by the love of exploring new territories in digital governance.
Yeah, I think one of the difficulties we have in our industry is also experimentation. Um, a lot of the participants are people who are really versed. Usually, they're part of the experiment creation. And one of the challenges we have is, okay, how do we now connect with a different group that doesn't live and breathe decentralized governance every day, but at the same time, that group to have processes to be able to collect data and make measurable insights on the effectiveness of decentralized governance. So that's why we're, so blessed to know you, Monica.
Oh no,
And
there's
I
so
was
many amazing people in our space doing a lot of great research. I wish they could come out and chat with us, especially some of the great people that are hope please come to our next events.
absolutely, and
Yes.
to that point, when is like tell us a little bit more about like your events and these groups.
It's really interesting. So I got introduced to the MetaGov ecosystem through Jeff and through this other group, which I introduced you to prior, Martin's Q Protocol. And MetaGov is a group that it's like a decentralized group that does just lots of different types of decentralized governance research. I think one of the interesting projects that they did, that they wrote a paper about recently, was about, recently there's a lot of zombie projects that have a lot of just dispersed assets that need to be consolidated. So they wrote a paper about how to like legally how to put like aggregate these small little zombie projects back. And so there's a lot of great research that and that's why I wish more people would do even more research in the Solana ecosystem, because there's so much real life experimentation that's being done, and that needs to be recorded for everyone to learn from. Um, Especially now that we have Alpenglow, right? We have the Alpenglow update, where a while ago I invited Professor Roger Wanhofer to the Boston Solana group to talk about some of the projects. And like even the governance aspect will be even more necessary for our Solana ecosystem projects, because for example, like nodes, right? We need more nodes in different parts of the world, and we will be dealing with a lot of people from different cultures. The more nodes that we that we encourage, for example, we don't have enough nodes in South America. We don't have enough nodes in Africa, and if we can decentralize that even more, this will make the entire ecosystem much more robust. But apart from that, there is governance layers involved. Apart from, and also there's all these other decentralized infrastructure projects coming in, like Fuse, right? That energy project. That project also has a coin. That those projects, those these are huge real world asset projects which require governance. So we really need to figure out how to onboard lay people properly, not just the people who are enthusiastic, but one of the things is, we need to spend more time figuring out the usability to like right now, a lot of the like even in other DAOs or other non Solana related ecosystems, a lot of the DAOs are entrenched, right? Like if you don't know the politics involved, it's really hard for you to get in. Not only that, like if you're not part of that inner circle, most of the time, a lot of people don't even know how to write a like a grant proposal properly to even get involved, right? And then that's one of the great benefits of the Solana ecosystem. You guys make it so easy for people to look up opportunities to experiment. Like even on the foundation side, you have all these particular things to sign up for. Apart from that, for even closer experimental purposes, you have all these different teams in Super Team, which openly provides small little grants to test little projects. And I wish more people would take advantage of that, and apart from just building projects, just building testing new things, right? And yeah, it's a very exciting time for Solana, and I think Solana has done every single thing right. And it's just like it's like I should be impartial, but there's a lot of things that other people are trying to catch up on in terms of the Solana ecosystem. And one thing that the ecosystem has done really well is building that strength in the community and that trust, because that guttural trust, I feel like even if you keep everything on chain, you still need to, unfortunately, people don't really truly trust each other unless you have kind of interacted with them through a long time, figuring out who they actually are, and their reputation, or even meeting them in person to feel who they're really like. So yeah, it's a strange place, but I feel like we have all the pieces together to do even more research, and that's why I think Dean has seen me for the past while, like introducing a lot of friends from MetaGov to try out their experiments on the Solana ecosystem.
How do you think we could do a better job on our side? Because first of all, thank you for the shout out to Solana and to the ecosystem we've got, for doing a good job so far. But how can we take it to another level? In that, like right now, we talk with you and other people in academia not that often. What is, like, how can we better fit in? And like the audience in general, like there's a lot of people that are watching us right now who are in governance, who are building these experiments or building these projects. What's the best way for us to interact with you, with universities?
I think even last time Prophet did it, like Prophet attended Jeff's event at Stanford. I think just initially just attending more at the events in person. And for example, your Civilian project, right? That is a very interesting platform that is very similar to what Jeff has proposed, because you have possible skin in the game, but just have more of that outreach, like attending those events in person, and just getting just getting people to know like your group, and having more of the understanding of what Solana is, because I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding from the initial previous cycles. A lot of the people that are shiny are not truly the people that are doing the work. I mean, you have amazing people, like you have people like Roger, like it's the but people don't see that, right?
That's it's like it's obvious, but it needs to be resaid, right? You have to go to the events, just like we tell people that are new to Solana and building. You have to come to the island DAOs and to the breakpoints. It makes complete sense that we need to do the same. Um, yeah, now I gotta figure out how I can put this on my calendar to come.
Yeah, please join us. I have a few dates that may be of interest to you. If you can come join us and share some of your insights, especially on Soalian governance.
Absolutely.
You know,
Oh my
especially
god.
especially we are creating more governance structures that require people to have more skin in the game, to penalize people for making frivolous decisions. We don't want projects that are there just to raid and pillage, right? Like that's what gave us these bad, this bad reputation that we have. I mean, even abstracting from afar, in private conversations with professors who've worked on blockchain as their main research topic, sometimes like I did ask them, like, does it taint your reputation? Does it taint your reputation to do blockchain research because people have a misunderstanding of the next level work that we're working towards, right? Where this stuff can, like, this type of, like in the next, like, I love that your platform's realms, like in the next like realm of society, we're working towards like everything decentralized, right? For example, the AI platforms, those things are being decentralized. A lot of the things that we can use for blockchain is the gated access, right? Gated access to private data sets, gated access to infrastructure, gated access to energy. Those things require governance on top of it, right? Like we're kind of like we're kind of like a cybersecurity um, aspect. Like we're always, like, governance is always thought as an afterthought. But if you don't do it right, like, nice perfect projects blow up for the smallest reasons, because like because of some kind of you know pillaging, or and like wrong incentive structures. And we've seen that time and time again. We've wasted so much effort, like, and like in the past, like even with Talik, he even said, what keeps them up at night is not the technology. What keeps them at night is the people, the people problems, right? So we need to continue to work on this, bring more great people on board, and keep improving on our decentralized infrastructures.
Yeah, we
How
have
do
the same
we
problem.
how do we incentivize people to understand that this is the default status that you have to be, the mindset that you have to be approaching everything that you do in crypto, like be aware of the decentralization aspect, be aware of the governance, how much you can participate in whatever you are getting your hands on, either as an investor, as a contributor, or whatever. How do we change that? And obviously the casino is going to be much more appealing as it is in real life, but how do we like educate people more into something that admittedly is not like the sexiest thing, and it's not until you need it, and then it's too late. Like we often say that governance is not an afterthought, but how do we like ingrain this into people's minds? What can we do as an industry, as an ecosystem, to hammer this point down so people understand the importance of this when they're looking into projects, protocols, teams, and everything?
I think right now, I don't even know whether I'm doing this correctly. Even just the onboarding itself, understanding, like bringing lay people into the research. I feel like we need to just make it fun. People like people's attention span is not there. Just gamify it, like bits and pieces. Let them gamify it. Let them put point systems in place, like as you've already done. But make it even more fun. Just having apart, maybe even collaborating with other groups, just to little bits and pieces. For example, with what's that cool project from Boston? Like if there's any like little like small voting projects that we can affiliate with, with Bonk, right? Like those affiliate projects, just add those little elements in, get them to try out, learn about governance. It's definitely not something fun that people just, let's go pick up a history book and figure it out. And also apart from that, there's all this, it's not always the most pleasant thing. There's always, when there's power involved, some people like to, there's a lot of strange politics that come about. But if we make it interesting for people to get to know, I think we will get a few more in there. We don't need too many, but like we need to make it easy for the layperson to just understand the bits and pieces. Like maybe even simpler. Like what is a block? Like kind of like what is a blockchain kind of gamification thing, but not blockchain, but on decentralized government. Why we need it?
Yeah. Oh, please go, Chris.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. My question is taking us somewhere else, so please go ahead.
I realized that there are more applications for decentralized governance in your realm than a lot of the participants we traditionally work with. A lot of the people coming on chain are trying to take advantage of the fundraising mechanism of crypto, of blockchain, but not necessarily the decentralization part. So when we come along and say, "Oh, you're building on chain, that's awesome," it's like, wait 1 second. I don't want other people to dictate how I'm going to use my funds and when I'm going to build. This is a problem we have in that a lot of people come for the fundraising, not so much the decentralization. And that can take us somewhere else. But what I find fascinating is research that needs to be decentralized. You mentioned the gating of the data. And I think that's an underexplored place for governance. Is the research, the nature of research is decentralized.
Especially nowadays, especially for AI, right? Even for AI agents, which there was a event that I was invited to at MIT, which also had your Solana ecosystem represented. There, I don't even know. I don't even know what to think. Like, given that there is already a decrease in the amount of people voting on chain, especially certain whales that are making big decisions for the chain, for people to add another layer of unnecessary complexity just for the sake of this AI cycle to automate decision making is extremely frightening for me. We it's great that we're kind of research. This is still in the nascent stages, and that we can explore this in a research setting. The Nanda project from MIT is doing, which also involved your teams from Solana in participation. One of the things that we were discussing there in terms of governance, because AI models require a lot of governance on top of that, with different members from people from all over the world, and suggesting that using AI agents to automate decision making, because people are not constantly monitoring, is, to us, it's very frightening. Like, imagine you're not even dealing with people who will interact with you to negotiate or create something new, but they're just basing decisions and voting patterns on past experience. Nothing will get renewed. It's just and that's why from our ecosystems we need to kind of push ourselves to make sure that we're at the forefront to kind of make these things heard. Because imagine how many zombie voters just randomly approving things for no reason, and you will have no idea, especially because they are, their identities are hidden, right? So a lot of there are a lot of these the things that we have to explore, given that Solana is such a experimental group of developers, and a lot of people love using AI agents now, especially. Maybe just provide some guidance on what can happen. Like, it doesn't matter what type of governance structure we put on if we have multiple zombie voters. I don't know. I don't know what that future will hold.
It's very interesting to explore governance in AI. Like, I understand you, like you mentioned that governance is important for the language models to govern the sets of information that are actually accessing. What other parts of non-digital assets and crypto governance do you deal with? What kind of niche may be different from the one token, one vote, or one share, one vote? What other systems have you explored? And if it's like what type of projects usually use them? Um,
I would, okay. So this is I may not be answering the questions correctly, but I'm constantly trying to explore that question also. So I was I was randomly invited to attend Bitcoin 2025 last year. I seriously thought that I wasn't going to learn anything. I thought it was just a bunch of libertarians just shrilling Bitcoin to the max, and but I found that particular group of people to be very, very serious. They really are the institution decision makers that are actually moving our space forward. And I had an opportunity to briefly chat with the CEO of BitGo. Their group does a lot of back end like building for a lot of the corporates and a lot of the larger projects. And I asked him like what he thought about the last RWA cycle of bringing stocks on chain, bringing real estate on chain, whether those are like what he thought about finally the adoption for the general public to understand more about crypto. And what he told me was, these things have already worked. These things have already worked for many years. Why are we adding unnecessary complexity on top of that? Sometimes these people might lose their assets if they don't take the security aspect, very, very, very delicately. Why are we adding this complexity? We as a as people in blockchain who believe in this future should make sure that we create solutions that help that is using blockchain, the immutability, the decentralization, to the max. We shouldn't go back to things that have worked before and just wrap it around. It's those are just like little frivolous cycles, right? And it got me to thinking about, like, what other um, other economic systems that we have that you know are not what it seems. Like, for example, McDonald's, right? McDonald's franchises are not about selling burgers. McDonald's franchises are about holding real estate, right? Another case in point, um, the airspace, the flight, the flight travel industry is not making money at all, right? What is actually making money is the point system that they have exploited to bring in other other people to buy into flight futures, right? Like we need to kind of look above and beyond using the strength of blockchain to figure out what we can push. And I feel that for now, I think we can concentrate more of the gated access, um, to kind of get people on board to be on our side, to know that we're not here to shrill shit coins or creating projects that go nowhere.
I like that you also brought up the responsibility and the security. We can't take that lightly, and I think that that reminds me again of the shitcoin situation, where we don't want to get to a world where the regulation takes, puts on all of these investor accreditation rules. Like, there has to be a certain amount of responsibility on people, but we as an industry should do our best to put standards and practices that make it easier for people to identify a shitcoin versus something that gives you authority over how a treasury is used, or what's being built. I think that's spot on. The responsibility of being a Bitcoin holder should be analogous to the responsibility of being a cryptocurrency investor. There's a opportunity that exists there, but there should also be a higher responsibility to the end user, or otherwise we're going to have regulation that stifles and restricts who's able to participate.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
and
sorry, Chris. It's kind of ironic, but full circle moment, because crypto is all about self custody. It's all about the responsibility. So the whole industry should have this infused in the DNA of whatever it's happening, and we should not be regressing to practices that we've been using in the Web 2 in the traditional finance world, and we should take in advantage of the blockchain technology to the fullest extent, like lean into the code more than we lead into having the code be compliant to whatever amalgamation of law, legislation, regulation we're trying to come up using our old minds, without just adopting and evolving that new technology that takes us to the next level of finance, economics, self-custody, and everything. Chris, you were saying?
pretty much the same. I totally agree with you guys. We got the tools, and we should use them. That's all. It's new tools. They can spawn new ways, new models, new research, and eventually, something great is gonna be born. So yeah, let's keep on doing what we're doing, exploring, and yes, I would love to get more academia to look at the various ways we're coordinating on chain. It's super interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, like the grants already exist for us, so thank you very much for those. But yeah, please come out, come out and share share the insights. We past we had we were talking about Futarki with let's get more. There's so many more insights, especially there. I mean, I know this Shikoi situation just went out of hand. However, there are a lot of learnings that were created, and given this group of individuals are very exploratory, there are a lot of learnings that we need to just extract out and just write it down and let people. Yeah, that's once I get my other work completed, that's my next step to kind of get more of our learnings out there for everyone to know about.
Okay, this was a tad shorter episode, but much more compact knowledge on this one. I think we should let the viewers digest this, and we're going to be sharing the episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everything. I hope this is not the only time that Monica you join us in those conversations. We would love to have you again. There's always so many things to talk about. And I'm very confident that there's other people out there, especially younger people in academia, students that are now starting their footsteps in the journey that they're going to change the world in whatever shape or form that takes. And let's bring them into this wonderful world of blockchain, of decentralized finance, of governance, and take the proper steps and make the world better in a sense, because that's what the ethos of crypto is at the end of the day. At least in my opinion, I'm getting a little too romantic in this opening episode for the year. Any closing statements, gentlemen and ladies?
Them. And so alien governance is one of those. Like I think your opinion and even a cold call, me trying to sell you so alien, I would love to see how you would view every concept, every step of the implementation and the theory. So yeah, looking forward to that so
But
much.
I'd love to bring the community to evaluate Soalian. It's a very interesting concept, and we would love to have more people know about it. So yeah, currently just heads down, just conducting research. Yeah, we'll definitely chat very soon. Thanks for having me.
One great way, one great way to bring the community over that we've been thinking, and I need to say this even live on air. We need to, take your group and your community on chain and participate in the DAO Olympics. Actually, we've been meaning to do that, and we are extending, an invitation to all schools, universities out there that want to participate in the DAO Olympics. That Realms is running on the way to the Realm stock launch. It's going to be a fun way, a gamified way for people to get acquainted with governance, do different tasks, and they compete for their organizations, their DAOs, as groups to get an allocation. I cannot think of something better than people to battle test and get onboarded to that. And we're also going to have challenges on the Soalian governance side.
Great, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining, Monica.
Thank you, everyone. Happy New Year. New episodes coming every week. See you very soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye.